All right, thanks for staying with us. We took a quick break. You're joining us on our Civilization 6 AI Battle Royale. I'm Pete Murray, joined by Anton Stringer, gameplay designer for Sid Meier Civilization 6. We're playing on standard speed, standard size continents, king difficulty, as regular a game of Civ 6 as you can get. And we've been continuing for a while now. It is now 1921 AD, turn 342. Let's go to the standings and see how everybody stands in our AI Battle Royale. Score, let's just update. Oh, we got some updates. Okay.
Aztec's still in the lead.
Aztec's still in the lead.
Not by much, though.
No, definitely not. Brazil and Greece, though, kind of struggling a little bit. They used to be right in there with it. There's starting to be some distance opening up on them. Spain, Japan, Russia, and Rome. We'd like to thank you guys for your many, many important historical contributions that you've made in the course of this. Let's go back to that science victory I pointed out earlier. Okay, we've got 4 civs in the competition for space now, but it looks like England is the clear leader, having finished 2 of the 3 paths for it. Brazil managed to get their space program off the ground. Russia has Sputniked their way up, and now they are starting to work on their moon landing. Aztec lingering, though. Interesting, they're starting to slip a little bit on that front, despite having that massive industrial infrastructure.
The thing to remember about that science victory too, like once that third bar fills up, they are complete, but the third portion, which is to make a Martian colony, involves sending up 3 rocket ships, and each of those is quite expensive in terms of production. And they all unlock at different technologies that are later in the game. So that last step is going to be, pretty time consuming to get, but definitely England has the early lead there.
So it's almost like having to build a series of wonders at the end of the game.
Kind of, yeah.
Culture, we can see
Aztec and Greece.
Aztec made a big jump since the last time we looked. Greece with the lower threshold, their massive, massive local culture value, meaning that everybody else has to overcome them in order to win. That puts them, they only need 278 world tourists in order to pull a victory. Everybody else needing 417, which is huge.
Greek culture defense is really making it tougher for everyone else except Greece. So they, even though they have less tourists overall, maybe less tourism, maybe not as many great works as the Aztec, they have a lower bar to meet in order to win that victory.
That is pretty cool. And domination, again, no capitals have changed hands. Religious victory, we've got some stability. Looks like we're actually not going to end up with a religious victory in this game, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's actually kind of spread out a little bit more than it was before.
So there's probably some competition going. A wonder has been completed by Spain. Looks like they got Broadway up. Hey, good job, Spain. Still hanging in there. And I just noticed fighter jets circling outside the Aztec capital. So clearly they're still investing in a military of some variety.
This is Montezuma's way.
Yeah, you can see
it. And actually,
orbiting.
you see the, I think it's the mechanized infantry in the Aztec city there.
Mechanized infantry in England, too.
There's one as well, yeah. So when you see the little stars above a unit's flag, that indicates the sort of combining of units that we've talked about. Once you get later in the civics tree, you unlock the ability to take 2 units of the same type, military units, and basically smash them together into one super unit. So if you have a mechanized infantry just by itself, it's pretty strong, but if you have another second unit, you can combine it together. It becomes a mechanized infantry corps, and then a third one will make a mechanized infantry army. And those have stronger base combat strength. It's not going to be as strong as if you had all 3 units separately. You're kind of like putting them together at a certain cost, but often having a little bit of a stronger unit in one tile is really important in certain situations. Like maybe you're holding a very key defensive position, you can punch through an enemy line that has similar units on the other side, but they are not armies and they are not corps. So that sort of thing can be very useful. It also helps cut down on some of the late game traffic if you have a big army.
And it will reduce the cost of them as well, too, correct? It does reduce some of the maintenance costs associated with them, which, if you've ever tried to maintain helicopters, they are quite, quite the pricey beast. I'm still holding out for a Spartan cultural victory. I'm still holding out that that's going to be what it goes. You can see they've got the Acropolises up and going. They're starting to build broadcast towers. That's just going to amplify their cultural abilities. I would be very, very they've got a lower threshold than anybody. I can see that's something they could potentially do pretty well with.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but I'm going to hold out for an English space victory.
Really?
Yeah, they have a very high score, which, I mean, they have a decent amount of land, but they probably have a lot of really strong infrastructure under there that we're not seeing just by kind of looking over the surface. They clearly have a very strong science game, having unlocked the Apollo project this early on. It's going to be a tough race to the end for them to get all 3 of those Martian colony projects, but they have a significant lead already. And especially if they've set up their districts kind of for this certain thing, to have those industrial zones powering that space race, I think it will go well for them.
Mm-hmm.
Spaceport right next to Rio there. Probably be very loud for everyone living there.
All
26 of those citizens.
All 26. I'm sure they love it.
You only launch every once in a while. So
I can't get over how big Kabul got.
Yeah,
I mean, it must have been like the city-state that everybody wanted to be friends
They
with.
were the belle of the ball, yeah. Maybe starting next to Rome and Sparta, they were just, they saw this militaristic city-state and they just really wanted to be its friend.
Certainly, I've gotten into trade wars, or envoy wars.
Oh yeah.
Over city-states before.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things about the city-state system is you can even send envoys in the middle of wars. So it's a way to sort of influence, put a wrench in someone else's plans. If Rome was the suzerain of Kabul in one case, and you were playing as Sparta, you could say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, Rome's in the middle of a war, and they're kind of leaning on this Kabul bonus for this double XP and this other really great stuff. Maybe they're even levied the military to temporarily take control of Kabul's army. But if I send enough envoys to, make Kabul look at me instead,
right,
then all those bonuses go away from Rome, and Rome has to send more envoys to recapture that. So it can really throw a wrench in plans, and you can even do this even if you're at war with the city-state, as long as you were not the one to declare war on them. If they just kind of got roped in because of their suzerain, you can still kind of send them envoys secretly and hope to turn the tides of their loyalty.
I have bankrupted city-states, or bankrupted civs by stealing mercantile city-states out from underneath them, which is one of those things that you can always tell the AI notices, because on the next turn it's like, how do you feel about peace? And that's when you can do things like, I like strategic resources, please give them to me.
Yeah.
Got some modern armor kicking around there.
Yeah. Spain just really having a rough time up there.
Yeah,
there were a lot of barbarians I noticed in the tundra there in the early game.
And they didn't really clear them out, which was kind of, I think they got focused on maybe trying to play the religion game to the south, and then I think they just got stomped over the turn.
Yeah, and it's a tough position to be in, because if you kind of are more towards the poles of the map, you have a tundra start, and you're not Russia, so you're not getting the bonus from that.
Right.
Like a lot of the barbarian camps and a lot of the goody huts tend to be up towards the poles, and other civs tend to not explore there because it's not very hospitable. So you can get a lot of bonuses by capitalizing on the barbarian encampments, seeking out the goody huts. But if you leave, if you focus too much on that, then you're not gonna, you're gonna sacrifice your expansion southward. Which, if you have someone like Rome and Greece beneath you, can really put a wrench in your plans.
Now we're seeing a lot of barbarian anti-armor or anti-tank troops popping up. Could that be a result of lack of amenities? Could that be kind of unhappiness?
Yeah, that actually happened to me. I've been playing a Scythia game, and I've been waging a lot of wars and war weariness at my capital, and I had an uprising, a rebellion in my capital where 2 musketmen spawned. Because I had access to the niter resource, so I was able to train musketmen. My own army did not have musketmen yet, but my people went to the niter mines, they took up arms against me. Thankfully, I had walls in place, and I had enough horse archers from my earlier campaigns I was able to put down the rebellion. But yeah, the barbarians definitely are still a presence in the later game, partially because of camps that go unnoticed, and there's these no man's land islands like we have in between the continents here, but also from rebellions in your own empire, especially if you're kind of treading the line with war weariness as you attack other civilizations.
And one of you can strategically pillage as well too. So for example, and actually barbarian settlers. So it looks like the barbarians got a settler from somebody, and they're trying to run away with them.
Yeah.
So if, for example, you're up against somebody who's been at war for a while, and you pillage their
luxury resources.
Well, their luxury resources, but entertainment districts.
Yeah.
Not only does that heal the unit that pillaged it, but it denies that amenity to the city. So I've done that before and seen mechanized infantry barbarians pop up outside the city, which
That's
is,
rough.
oh, I'd like to say I felt bad about it, but that would be untrue.
Yeah.
Stockholm has declared war on Russia. Russia has declared war on the Aztec.
Russia and
this
Aztec,
late in the game.
The age-old rivalry. Oh,
Why?
and Greece is involved in something too. What do we got?
Greece
is
is
also declaring war on the Aztecs. This might be
That's
another joint
fascinating.
war.
Yeah. So the last joint war we saw kind of fizzled out because neither AI wanted to commit particularly strongly to the attack.
But yeah, now in this eastern part of this bigger continent here, the cities are bumping up against each other, so we might see more of a conflict here than we did before.
It's interesting though. I mean, there must have been some behind-the-scenes denouncement to go on because AI is very unlikely to declare a surprise war.
Right.
This
Especially,
late in the game.
yeah, later in the game, casus belli becomes a much bigger deal. So, going to war with someone, the warmonger penalty and the war weariness is much more significant later in the game because the diplomatic landscape has evolved and everyone's more civilized and war is not something you do all the time, right? So, but there are, of course, ways around that.
Oh, Russia's going to pay for that. There's mechanized
What'd you
infantry
say?
armies moving in on the northern Russian cities there. That's
From the Aztec.
from the Aztec.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like England's going for the Hermitage as well too. And there's a undeveloped tile near Rome that looks like they missed out on Wonder because you can see roads starting to converge on it, but not completing.
Right. Yeah, every time you place it's kind of a minor detail, but I don't know if we've ever mentioned it. When you place a district or a wonder, you kind of get a road for free on that tile.
Yes.
And if it's a wonder and you fail the wonder, the road sticks around, so it's kind of like a nice consolation prize. But that means that, moving around your districts, around your cities, it's going to be, especially once you get to later eras and you get unlock the later roads with the movement bonuses, it becomes much quicker.
I'm very curious as to whether or not the Aztec will be able to, because they've pried cities away from the Russians before, and it looks like they might have done it again. I'll pause it for just a moment. Did they get a Russian city? No, that's La Venta, which they've had since antiquity. But Smolensk has changed hands a few times.
Right.
And you know what? That catapults are great. Good luck with that. Let me know how that works out for you.
Oh, this might be it. Well, I mean, Smolensk actually has 90 defense there. That's actually quite a strong value. So they might be training other units behind the scenes there to keep up that defense value.
Yeah, they got cruisers that are pillaging the fishing boats.
Yeah, that's going to be a pain for Russia to repair.
Yeah. That wasn't a bad choice for a city that's off by itself if you're Brazil. Just kind of throw a carnival district up and just use it to crank amenities.
Yeah, and every point of population you have in any of your cities will give a little bit of science and culture.
Oh, are they going to lose St. Petersburg? We've got tanks and mechanized infantry converging on St. Petersburg.
Because man, this is a multi-front war.
Oh, Russia.
The Aztecs doing very well.
You chose poorly. Mechanized infantry armies, tank armies.
Vologda's safe, for now.
Oh yeah.
Vologda, sorry. Yeah, man, look at all that tiles that they just grabbed up.
That's a population 2 city. He hasn't bought anything. That's just what they started.
I'm going to take these tiles so you cannot have them.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
I remember when you guys developed the Shoshone for Civ 5,
Yep.
and you were talking about their special abilities, and you were like, they get extra tiles for settling. I was like, that's so rude.
Yeah.
And now you've got a whole Civ, a whole new Civ that's doing it.
One of our designers, Scott Lewis, that was back in the company back then, he hooked up that bonus, and we were kind of unsure how it would play out. It was actually, surprisingly easy to do, and we decided to play with it, just like we do with everything when we're designing, and we realized how fun it was.
Stockholm's made peace with Russia. Stockholm's made peace with Greece. Did Greece back out of the war?
Oh, it could be. So Aztecs might be fighting it by themselves now.
Russia would be fighting against the Aztec by themselves. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. That's a sneaky diplomatic move there. Oh yeah, we'll go to war. Yeah, we'll help you out. You're on your own now.
Oh man. Yeah, we declared war on them, right? That was good, right?
We sent them an angry letter.
Yeah, exactly. Dear sir, I disagree with you. Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody catch up to, I don't know.
What do you think of Greece now? It seems like they've been kind of quiet. Haven't really.
They have. If they're cranking on culture, that's not something that's going to show up the same way that
Sure. It's kind of epic.
legions
culture.
of infantrymen marching through the countryside are going to.
Right. Yeah. So they could be accumulating quite. It looks like they have a spaceport under construction over there. So
They do. They do.
Yeah.
They're trying to build one, which I'm a little surprised about. But
Yeah.
they might be hedging.
They might be
against.
hedging, yeah, in case the culture thing doesn't work out. But I think, yeah, they were pretty well set up for the culture victory. Something kind of interesting about the spaceports too. So I mentioned that the Mars colony has these 3 rockets that you have to build, and you can build them one at a time in a spaceport district. But if you
have 3 spaceport
you have
districts.
2 or 3 spaceport districts, you can do them simultaneously. Which if you're kind of down to the wire on a science victory, might be worth the cost.
I need to do that. Oath is just stomping the Russians. That's so sad. All right.
Oh, Aztec.
Cultural. Oh, the Aztec.
Even with the higher threshold.
Even.
They're almost a quarter of the
whoa.
way there. Yeah, they've passed Greece with culture at this point, just looking at the percentages.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Did they get a wonder up, I wonder? Policies. They could have switched some policies around. They could be getting.
Yeah, maybe stole some great works with espionage.
Could have. They could very well have. Yeah, because Greece's threshold's bumped up quite a bit as well, too.
If we go to the overall tab there, we can kind of take a look at some of the tourism numbers.
Just a minute. We're
There
stuck a
we
little
go.
bit. Okay.
So yeah, culture victory, Aztecs leading. If we tooltip over that, okay, so 280 tourism per turn, 74.5 culture per turn.
Let's
And-
take a look at the Greeks. 100 return, 229.2.
Wow.
So they're not
They're
exporting.
They are cranking on culture, raw culture, but the tourism isn't quite up to what the Aztecs are doing.
So the Aztecs must be doing policies or
A lot
maybe
of
the
those-
great works or maybe those wonders that they've been
Yeah.
hoarding over the course of the game. That
And
could
those
be-
later technologies and civics will also start ramping up a lot of the sources of tourism for you. So
Yep.
if they have a tech lead, then that would be working in their favor. Oh.
Oh,
Russia.
Russia caught up. Russia
Wow.
can go to the moon. Will
That
Russia
spaceport.
pull it out? It seems so unlikely that Russia, because that final
That's surprising.
final achievement is so hard to do, and with
It is.
only a single city that they can conceivably do it from,
I don't think they're going to have the
I
production
don't think they're going to be able to
it out.
finish it. But
That's quite.
but they're over the
That's quite a
Aztec
surprise.
and by quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still
Aztecs is just.
okay. Aztec
Still
pop up
ticking up
again.
on the-
Still
yeah.
ticking up on culture. Greece just not moving fast enough. If the
Yeah.
Aztecs have pivoted, which it looks like they might have done,
Are they still in the lead on score too?
let's find out.
Yeah, 431.
431. They could have moved towards a cultural victory.
Yeah. And negotiating a multi-front war at the same time.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
If they capture some cities, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad thing. Although, if they keep it up too long, the war weariness might backfire
Who's taking? Okay, we've got barbarians outside of
for them.
Kabul. They must have been spawned maybe from war weariness.
Could've
Turns
been.
out warriors don't hold up real well against mechanized infantry units. Who
There's your
knew?
Spearman versus Tank.
Yep.
Confirmed for Civ 6.
Yep. Yep.
And that island in between the landmasses still is going unsettled, which doesn't surprise me. But I think I saw earlier in the screen, I think Russia or someone had sent a scout out there just to see what was going on. And
As I
it was
recall, it was like
infested with
it was
barbarians.
covered with barbarians. And yeah, they were spawning naval units and things like that too. Oh, Buenos Aires. Oh,
Wonder
you're
if they got-
fallen.
I wonder if
They got barbarianed.
involved. Yeah, okay.
Got barbarianed. And a destabilized and unhappy neighbor with low amenities and generating rebellion inside of its borders on your own borders is really annoying because
That's
you
true.
end up having to keep an army on hand basically just to manage your neighbor who can't manage his own affairs.
Right.
I won't mention what civ I've played against that's done that before. Sumeria. Oh, Russia's generated another settler, and
Okay.
their resort has burned down.
Oh.
The Aztecs have been burning down their resorts
And all the fishing boats.
and
too.
all of the fishing boats. Manchester's getting big. Oop. There goes somebody's apostle flying into that
Japan,
district right there. Yeah.
Might be desperately trying for the only victory that they're kind of set up for.
Yeah, good luck with that, Japan. Oh, man.
Russia has they got a builder ready to go repair all that stuff. It's just there's a lot of mechanized
It's
infantry
just,
in the way.
yeah, exactly. Good luck with that.
Um,
Oh, man.
I'll mention too. So the resource icons in this version of the game aren't normally visible, but there are these sort of rect columns that you are seeing.
Right.
Yes, and there's out at sea there are these shipwreck icons, and those reflect the archaeology system for the game. So for civs that are going out with archaeologists and digging up artifacts that can help with their cultural victory, but there's a lot of war and instability, so I think it's interfering with a lot of those pursuits.
Usually you see England trying to do the most with that. They're,
Especially with their bonus, yes.
Yeah, they're very aggressive about, and you'll see that sometimes mid and late game will suddenly be like, open borders? And that's when you're like,
you want to let
is
us
there-
come dig up your stuff?
yeah, is there a reason you need open borders? I don't think there's a reason you need open borders.
Yeah.
Oh!
Rome, coming back.
Rome, coming back. Oh,
You
there
can
was
do it.
there was a river on that island.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Look at that sudden boom in the number of. And the English got the Hermitage up. That's going to be.
That's going to be great for their culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think they're going to try for that science victory. But
Yeah, I think so too. I think, yeah.
if the
between
Aztec had gotten that, that would have been.
that would have been dangerous.
Yeah. What are they trying now? Could be a wonder.
There's a
Legion in there.
right, a Legion Corps.
A Legion Corps.
Holdover from a bygone era.
Oh man!
Oh,
Did they just
There
nuke them?
goes Smolensk. I didn't see, but it's now Aztec.
Oh, it fell.
Yeah.
It fell completely.
Swapped, yeah. Be interesting to see how that affects the Aztec victory push. Their culture was going quite strong.
Yeah. Well, they could clear the northern half of the continent
Yeah.
of Russian cities. Now, they have captured Smolensk previously in the stream and then traded it back
As part of
at
the peace
peace.
agreement, right? Okay.
Which this time I think they're operating from a position of strength, and I don't think they need to worry about that quite as much.
Right.
Um,
In Russia, with their, if I'm remembering right, their spaceport was down towards St. Petersburg, so it's behind that wall of mountains that has sort of been a blessing and a curse for them.
and
There's
we
a
still
spaceport
have-
over with Sparta, yeah.
yeah. Rome finally gets an anti-tank.
Yeah.
Crossbowmen.
Come on.
Crossbowmen, knights,
believe in you.
anti-tank. You can do it. We believe in you. I don't believe in you. Spain working on, Sparta working on its infantry there.
Mhm. Yeah, a lot of those city-states in the middle of that bigger continent have really spread out, really gotten a lot of envoys.
There just must have been a ton of trying to woo them during the course of those wars that were going back and forth there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Russia's moonshot was its last feeble gasp at victory. I think losing its second or third largest city, leaving
Yeah.
it basically with St. Petersburg.
It actually has a larger empire on the other continent now.
In terms of cities, yeah.
In terms of cities, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of raw population, maybe not.
St. Petersburg still got a lot of the and that mountain range that was early for them definitely helped with some of the adjacency bonuses. But yeah,
I'm
Russia's kind of
surprised they didn't
fallen to
take off.
pieces.
I mean, was it that early war?
I think that might have been part of it. That choice of settling up in the north of the continent was kind of a risky play. Like going for the natural wonder was certainly interesting, and I remember watching the stream earlier. Russia was swarming the continent with missionaries. They were really playing the religion game hard, and starting with Stonehenge, starting with the Lavra right by the mountain range there.
Right.
I think that was the smart play. I think what they maybe missed out on was actually north of St. Petersburg, right there, where the Aztecs have settled.
Yeah.
If they were able to get some really nice fertile land there, get a couple of other secondary cities to help with that push. And with the religion game, it's so important not just to have the missionaries, but to have those solid converted cities applying the sort of slow, steady pressure to kind of consolidate your religious victories as you spread across the continent.
Yeah. And Rome, another traditionally widespread civ, just didn't quite launch this time. Whether it was that war they went into with Sparta early on, or certainly wasn't a bad start that they had.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look like they were able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I still feel like they maybe expanded in the wrong direction. They just didn't have all the information right away. They had a desert to the north of them, which, I probably would not have tried to settle up that way anyway. But they just, kind of left Sparta the room to really grow with that city of Athens there, and kind of got trapped in between England and Sparta.
I know we just checked score, but I kind of want to do it again.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I kind of want to just let it.
1965.
1965.
Aztecs still in the lead. Oh no, I think we need to refresh that.
Oh, sorry,
like
yes,
the same numbers
right. So
there.
we'll do overall.
So
Oh,
okay.
yeah, 571 for the Aztec, 541 for England. Yes, I know I said it wrong last time, guys. 479 for Greece. So they're.
Rome is no longer last place. Spain now has that honor.
Oh, good job, Spain. Okay, let's take a look at science. Aztecs starting to move on the science track again as well too.
Just about to land on just about to go to the moon.
Just about to go to the moon. Nobody else stepping up to the third part of the science victory though. Greece getting its science program underway.
Yeah.
Let's religion. Nothing's changed there. That's going to be pretty stable from now on.
I would say.
Those pressures start to cancel each other out. Culture.
Oh, Aztec.
The Aztec are really moving now.
They're climbing, yeah.
So.
And interestingly, I think it was a threshold of 400 tourists last time, and that's actually dropped. So I think Greece's culture push, their raw culture, may not be as strong as it once was.
They are definitely 286.
The domestic tourists are leaving,
their tourism is not quite what it once was. Their tourism target. So clearly they're starting to fall behind a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Now let's drop back to overall. We can. This is lagging a little bit because it's waiting for the turns to process. I want to see the Aztec military strength. 9,000. It's over 9,000.
It really is.
England also at 3,000. Brazil can probably not worry about it too much if they're allied with the Aztec.
Right.
Gorgo cranking in at 1130. Trajan trying his best. Hojo trying his best. And Russia 128. Just completely crippled after that last war.
Yeah, the military strength is comparable to what in Civ 5 we call the pointiest sticks screen, where it's sort of an amalgamation of your military strength of all the units that you have sort of active in your army. But it takes a few other things into account as well. I believe the sort of treasury you have, the gold on hand, because that can easily be translated into new, fresh units.
Right.
So you sort of calculate that and come up with a number for your kind of overall military power.
Mm-hmm. Japan's still trying that religion game.
Spread those apostles,
just trying to get more people into Buddhism. Buddhism's cool, right? You guys like Buddhism? An English settler. I wonder if they're going to push to that island as well too.
Could be. They're not that far away. They do have that Manchester settlement on the other continent, and yeah, I think if there were a little bit more space, we'd see England spreading out to multiple continents. And we got to keep in mind too that we say continent in terms of the land masses that are on the screen here, but there are also gameplay continents that you can see. So I would guess, I don't think we're able to see the lens in this
No,
build.
the lens is not.
But Spain and England and a lot of the other civilizations.
That was probably the last legitimate tile you could build a city on.
Yeah, just about, except for that central island, I think just about the rest of the land is gobbled up. That's actually something I've seen a lot in my games too. I will often leave a lot of space in between my cities because I like the culture to sort of gradually spread out to the maximum tile radius and have the most yields coming in with the most citizens as possible. But if you don't sort of protect your borders, a lot of AI will sort of forward settle you. And it's not even forward settling because it's sort of like intersettling you. Like they'll find a gap in between cities that you already have and they'll plop down a city there and kind of make a front for themselves, which can be very frustrating. And then you just want to burn it down.
That's generally how, Jakarta has declared war on the Aztec. Who is trying to declare war on the Aztec? Because that is a silly decision.
Did you see that military strength? It's over 9,000.
It's over 9,000.
Just get culture.
You're
or
Jakarta.
I don't
You
know.
live up on the
Chip
pole.
away.
You're a city-state. Like, what were you thinking?
Might be a harbor being constructed.
Yeah, it looks like a harbor. Yeah, Rome just... People go there for the quaint bucolic charm.
We'll go to see all those things that they were famous for in the olden days.
Looked like the Aztec might be trying to kick another wonder up. If they can get the Cristo Redentor up, it's over. It's basically over at that point. Yeah, because they can start all those lovely. Oh, barbarians got a worker. Wonder who got those.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Yes, Rome.
And that's it. That will be the last city in the game because there's nowhere else to settle on that island, it looks like.
Yeah, there's the 3-tile radius restriction, so that might be the last spot. I'd have to take a look at the tundra up north there, but now it looks like there's some island chains down below you can plop a city down on, but it's not going to be very good for districts outside of the harbor. Sparta's building something there. I can't tell based on the construction what it is.
Maracana, I think.
Yeah. Stadium.
Which, again, that's going to push on culture a lot and tourism just a little. No, that's pretty good for tourism too. I don't think about that. English turtling up hard.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a competitor they need to worry about. They've got 2 weak buffer states on either side of them. Nobody's going to attempt anything militarily. They just need to stay home and make rockets.
Yeah. Which I'm still hoping for.
You're hoping for a rocket?
Yeah. I don't know where they are on the technologies right now, but that could be the way we end it.
I'm
But
thinking the Aztec are going to pull a culture victory out the way it's looking
really,
at this point.
They're gaining a lot of momentum.
They're cranking along. Yeah. Turn at 399. Oh, Jakarta new piece. The Aztec.
1978.
Yep. Turn 399.
Towards the end of the historical Cold War era.
Yep. Meanwhile, we see barbarian mechanized infantry units rolling around. Kamasi's upgraded everything but those chariots.
Yeah, with the city-states it could be tough because they need access to strategic resources to upgrade a lot of their units. But if they are really popular and they have a suzerain, they'll give the resources to them.
Yes.
So their own army, it sort of comes at the cost of trying to help their ally as much as they can.
Right. And allying the suzerain, getting the suzerain bonus from a city-state and getting access to that resource is often a great way to get it for something that you don't have yourself. I mean, I've gotten
for sure
Niter from people for that.
And it's a way, kind of similarly in Civilization 5, like because a lot of the resources are distributed kind of in a geographic pattern. You know, there might be a luxury or a strategic that you just kind of don't have anywhere near you. And because envoys can kind of travel anywhere, you just kind of find the city-state that has what you need. Especially once it's later in the game, you explore the map. You can sort of like pick what you want.
Looked like the Aztec were trying to build a neighborhood outside of their capital. Oh, the Japanese have finally upgraded to mechanized infantry.
Okay.
They're trying to kick. They probably don't have a lot of surplus gold. Looks like we've got some
for
war
having
weariness
problems, yeah.
grinding around in Russia.
Yeah.
That's just not going to help them at all.
No, that's, yeah.
I mean, they don't have the resources to fight that off.
Yeah.
They're getting tiles pillaged. That's basically the end of Russia as a competitor in the game.
Yeah, I would say. They tried admirably for the space race there, but that last stage is going to be too hard for them to navigate with barbarians at the gates here.
It's really something that you have to plan for in a really significant way. I mean, it's a huge investment of not just science, but production
Yeah.
as well. I mean, and Russia had pretty good production down there because clearly they were able to catch up a bit. But
Yeah.
you know, you need two cities making those hammers to make
Yeah,
that
and
happen.
having an industrial zone, even if it's not in the same city as the spaceport, having an industrial zone nearby, because the industrial zone and the entertainment district can both spread some of their benefits towards nearby cities.
.404, turn not found. Let's take a look. Turn 400. So we should be. This is end game. This is where we're starting to bring it together. Domination victory, religious victory, probably off the table right now. Aztec leading a monstrous 316 tourism per turn.
They've really picked that up. Even with the low base culture, they're just really
and you know, Greece putting out 251 culture per turn. It's just a matter of time at this point. England in second place. Interestingly,
Yeah.
let's take a look at culture.
Ooh,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, they're on the move, and
Just
you can
about
see
halfway.
Greece. Their threshold is now 309. Looks like they've missed their window to really kind of drive that
Yeah.
culture victory,
The gap is closing. Yeah.
and they're just not making it up on the tourism front as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Rome with a one tourist a turn.
They've got one.
One guy who really likes.
He loves the Colosseum. I actually don't think Rome got the Colosseum this game. So
I don't think
never
they
mind.
did either. I think that was Sparta or Greece. So we've got Japan trying to get a space race off the ground. Russia, Aztec, England, all tied up. England maybe pushing this a little bit more.
If we take a look at the third bar there, okay, so we can see England actually does have all the technologies for those final three rockets. They have nuclear fusion, they have robotics, and they have nanotechnology. So now they just need the production. And at this point, at the rate Aztec is going, I think they would need something like those 3 spaceports at once to try to crank everything out. But it's significant production. Ooh.
Russia has made peace with the Aztec.
Oh, they've also
And
Desert City.
Desert City.
That's right, it looks like the Dead Sea there. So.
It is the Dead Sea.
Yes, that's not a bad play if you're going for like early religion stuff. But
yeah, too bad the Aztec have Petra, which would have made that city
that would have
amazing.
Been, yes.
But that was interesting. City settled in the 1980s.
Yeah. All the borders are cramming up against each other.
Yeah, we've kind of arrived at the end of the unexplored world. Oh, Moscow's trying to build a spaceport.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't given up hope.
Yeah.
Kazan now a Aztec city. Aztecs clearly in control of the north of their own home continent. 3 solid cities in the south of that continent.
28 pop for Rio. That's pretty
That's pretty awesome.
Something neat about the space race steps as well. We had mentioned, that most of the map was explored at this point. Each of the sort of preliminary steps for the space race victory will give you a gameplay bonus. So when you launch your first satellite, you get Sputnik up there. You actually reveal the whole map. So anything that you haven't found yet, you'll be able to see. Any city-states tucked away on maybe a continent you haven't really explored, you'll get to meet. And that's, once you start meeting city-states kind of outside your home starting area, that's
Right.
when the envoy game really becomes interesting. And the later game, governments will give more envoys at a time, so you have these much more dramatic swings in who's the suzerain of what. The second one, for landing on the moon, will give a big culture boost based on your science rate.
Yes.
Sort of reflecting the sort of international celebrity and notoriety of being the first one to land on the moon, and having a big culture sort of burst because of that. So it's expensive, but if you, it's a viable strategy to kind of pursue parts of the science victory. Like one, as hedging your bets, and two, like as a nice culture bump. If you want to actually, pivot and go towards a culture victory later on. So depending on like when, or depending on what the science was like for the Aztecs in England when they hit those milestones, that could have been a big swing towards that culture victory.
So what happens when you get to the Mars missions? Do
The
each
Mars
one of those
ones,
provide bonuses
They
as
do
well?
not. They are solely for the victory, so they each are sort of self-contained. They're all the same sort of production cost,
Right.
and you can kind of complete them in any order. You just have to complete all three, so it depends on what technologies you choose to research first. But those are solely for the victory.
Yes.